Having worked in Australia, in the UK, and in the US, the question around why is adaptive leadership particularly relevant in each of those contexts, I would say is a question that's relevant globally. I think the whole world is continuing to deal with challenges that we haven't seen before, that we don't know the answers to. And each particular environment has its own particular quirks, its own political context, its own political economy. And leaders are having to navigate these spaces in ways that are unpredictable and unprecedented.
So the old way of leadership, a heroic leader, a clear outcome, and just marshalling forces, doesn't work anymore. We live in a much more complex world. Think about the problem of climate change. There are lots of different changes of behaviour. Lots of people need to act together. And a command and control heroic leadership style is not going to work there. So we really need a different way of thinking, and we think adaptive leadership is the approach that's time has come.
So in terms of thinking about how adaptive leadership can help people navigate new types of challenges and facilitate dialogue, I would say that one of the pivotal elements of adaptive leadership is the fact that it begins with this diagnostic question. Is the challenge that I'm dealing with a technical challenge, or is it an adaptive challenge? If a challenge is technical, we tend to have seen it before, we tend to know how to fix it, we tend to mostly rely on the experts to make progress on that challenge. But when a challenge is adaptive, it tends to be one that is novel in some ways, that does require discovery, that requires us to engage people in different parts of an ecosystem, because adaptive challenges live in multiple different places. So even if you think about the problem around climate change, it's not just a challenge that the energy companies are going to resolve. It's going to require citizens to shift how it is that they operate and their expectations around energy, how it is that they consume power and how they contribute to that space. It's going to require working with the regulators and the financiers. So it's a multifaceted challenge that lives in multiple places, which necessarily requires dialogue, because no one actor in that system can close the gap between where we are now and where we need to go. So it requires you to engage in a different way.